Hello and welcome to this Project in a Box video session. In this session we're going to be looking at Practical Scrum, which is the new standard method offered on all our projects and products by Project in a Box. So Practical Scrum, let's have a quick overview of the method then. So it's a traditional Scrum type approach with sprints using product backlogs and all the sorts of documentation you would normally expect. We've got the wheels within wheels type of model. Each sprint is wrapped and started with a planning exercise and completed with review and retrospectives exercises. And we have the documentation to support those. The usual daily Scrum discipline is included with burn down tracking. Depending which version of the product you're using it on, you'll get daily Scrum reports as well. And of course, a key part of Scrum is producing incrementally usable products at the end of each session, and we've got documentation for that as well as the final project acceptability documentation as well. And this is starting to fill into the sort of corporate norms. So we've added to our Practical Scrum a launch process, which is about setting the project within the normal corporate expectations and norms, setting up business cases, making sure you've got approvals, making sure there's a valid set of benefits at the beginning, and you've appointed all the people in the normal way that you might expect. So we're sort of starting and stopping the project within a sort of corporate framework, and then operating the entire middle bit of the project in a pure Scrum way. So this is a slightly different approach, like I say, setting it, bedding it into the normal way that people run corporate type projects. And you'll be able to use this alongside others. So you'll be able to use Prince2 method, our end step methods, the Scrum method, all within the same framework, different projects within different parts of the organization, and they'll all have that same information availability for reporting, etc. So how can you use this? So you can get this on Community Edition and Personal Edition. So Community Edition users, many of you will be familiar with that. It's our free tool. This method will be provided as a free download to go into your existing Community Edition, so you'll be able to just use it as it is with the full set of templates, including quite a sophisticated product backlog template as well. So you'll be able to manage all of that from within Community Edition. Same thing will apply to customers of our Personal Edition. They will also be able to download and apply the Practical Scrum method there. They will also have the advantage of being able to do some standardized reporting against it, but it's not Scrum specific reporting. If you use it in our main multi-user platform, that's Small Team Edition, Enterprise Edition, Live Edition, you'll get a more sophisticated version of the model, which includes daily Scrum reports, like this, which you can use to run your daily Scrum meetings, giving you statistics and burn down and where you are with your various story workthroughs, what you should have done yesterday, what you're working on today, and what's challenging you. So pulling all that data together from the various sources and presenting that back to you. Of course, because you're integrated into the main system, you'll be able to do your task and resource management and all that sort of stuff as well. So that's a quick overview. Let's go and have a look at some of that in practice. So here I've got my Community Edition. I've already created the project from the method template, and it could be sat alongside all the other sorts of projects that I'm running in my system. So I've got, like I say, some tenders and some end steps and some all sorts of different things in there. And I'll simply just click my way through the process and I'll get the documentation that's appropriate. So at launch, like I say, we've got collecting a mandate, preparing a business case, working on the product backlog and appointing people, getting the controls in position so that we can sit the Scrum project within the framework of the other sorts of projects that we're doing, collecting communications documentation, hints and tips, templates to help you get along, etc. As we come through the process to sprint planning, we see a slightly different set of documentation. We've got the user stories to start working on and other things to update, documentation of our planning meeting for the current sprint, etc. Working through that in the sprints, accessing content for the daily Scrum. It's all just laid out for us in the normal sort of way that we might expect, with all the templates that we're going to need to use, like say including a sophisticated product backlog. Same templates on all of the different methods, so you can move your projects between them. So that's the normal sort of Community Edition type of thing. Of course, within here we also include some guidance links through to other things that you're going to find helpful to support you, as we always do with our methods. So that's in Community Edition. We move on and look at it in Personal Edition. Looks very, very similar. It's the same sort of personal tool environment. You've got a slightly more sophisticated documentation model here in terms of being able to send things out by email and search for content, etc. But it's basically that same set of templates. Of course, the difference here is that we can go off and do some reporting, and it'll pull together all of that content which is in our plans, risk and issue registers, product backlogs, roles, etc. into reporting for us. But that's a standardized reporting. The same would apply to all projects of the same in the same tool. When we come to our multi-user platforms, though, we get a more sophisticated reporting. Yes, we can access the same standardized reporting that we run across all projects, which is often a corporate norm, but then we can also get out our specifically Scrum-related reporting. So if I'm running my daily Scrum, I want the access to all the information to, I don't have to spend loads of time preparing all that. We all sit down or stand up around the table, and we access that documentation straight away to review what's gone on, what's coming forward, etc. And in fact, here we've got that. We've got our burn down, latest stats and how they've changed over the last couple of days, a list of the stories and where we are with all those coming from our product breakdown. We've got what did we accomplish yesterday, we've got what have we got going on today, and setting that within a context of last few days, next few days, and then what's challenging our progress, what issues have we got which are live in the project that we need to be working on. So getting that content all together for us in a nice easy way. Of course, because these reports are produced to Word, you can add your notes to that, and you can then save that and publish it back into the project. You've got a record of what was discussed, what the situation was every day on the project as you go through. That's really good when it comes to retrospectives and improving the way that you're working at the end of each sprint. So of course, this also sits within the normal sort of corporate structure. So as an individual comes onto here, I look at my project tasks and it shows me which tasks that are going on. I was involved in the launch exercise, and now I'm involved in sprint 1, and we can see that's going sort of okay. And we've got the prep for sprint 2 looking out ahead of us as well. So I can see what my context and involvement in the project is, and it'll be different for each person as they look into here. They'll see things relevant to them. Same for project issues and risks, and in fact also the same for resourcing. So I can come to my project resource and see all that. So all the sort of bigger set of tools for a multi-user environment that's much more appropriate. But it's still doing Scrum, and it's still doing it in the way that you're familiar with, but I'll say just wrapped in a slightly more corporate acceptable way. And of course, here you can have Scrum projects running alongside Prince, alongside N-Step, alongside anything else that you want to do. And you can personalize these things to make them the way that you want to make them. So this is our generic Scrum approach. If you want to put some extra documentation in, or take some out, or rename things, or put some extra processes in, you're welcome to do that. You can customize the methods to do that. Okay, well, I hope you found that helpful. We'll be launching our Practical Scrum method across these products in the coming days, and I'm sure you'll find it very useful, and we look forward to your feedback on it. Thank you very much.